feeling well today, and he will not be here. So I'm going to be leading court today, and we're going to start with having Mr. Al Prescott from St. Mary's do our invocation, and then we'll do the pledges to our flags, okay?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a wonderful day today. We all should be home working in our spring garden, right? Okay. All right. Well, beautiful day. When I walked up the stairs this morning, I saw Sheriff Holloway and 6 other sheriffs out there, and I thought they were filming an episode of Sheriff Country here in Brenham, Texas. Is anybody out patrolling today, Sheriff?
Yes, sir.
Which part? Because I need to drive home quick. Well, let's pause and take in a deep breath here on this beautiful day as we begin this Commissioners Court meeting. So let us pray. Gracious God, as the Commissioners look ahead and make plans, may they submit them all to you. Help them to think clearly, work wisely, and remain open to your direction. Let your purpose guide every decision they make today. Align their vision with your will and lead them in a way that brings lasting results. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Prescott. All right, item number 3 on the agenda is to discuss and possible action on the approval of pending Washington County Expo rental and regulation contracts. Commissioners, you have that in your packet. Today we have Elections 2026 letter and Lucky Brew LLC. I don't know if y'all have been down to the Expo grounds, but that's a little coffee trailer. In case anybody wants a coffee, they're selling coffee out of that trailer.
Oh, cool.
So,
And there's always a line.
yes, it's always a line. So I would recommend, if you like coffee, go give it a try. Do I have a motion?
I
for
make
the-
a motion to approve the pending Washington County Expo rental regulations and give the judge permission to sign.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to the presentation of the Sheriff's Office Yearly Comparison Report and Awards. Sheriff Holloway?
Morning, Commissioners.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Morning, Washington County. What a great day to be in the place that we love to call home. The COP, our Citizens on Patrol Activity Report, was to be presented by Mark Pennybacker today. He had a conflict, and he could not be here this morning. He asked me to present that for him, and he gave me some talking points. I'm going to try to do it justice. I just want to say I am grateful for the time, the dedication, and the hours that our volunteers with our COPs put in. So I'm going to go through some of their highlights in their report. On their patrol miles driven, during the year was 20,024 miles. That's slightly over 385 miles that they drive on patrol per week. The frequency of their patrols, they conducted a total of 137 or 2.6 per week. And their patrol hours, the time that they spent patrolling was 779 hours. That's right about 15 hours per week, and their average patrol lasted 5 hours and 41 minutes. Now, they also track the roads that they travel on in the county, okay? And so they divide that up by precinct. And so in Precinct 1, they traveled 99% of the roads during their patrols. In Precinct 2, they traveled 92% of the roads during their patrols. Precinct 3 and Precinct 4 were both 91%. So that gives us a total of a 93% of the roads in Washington County that our COPs travel when they're doing their patrols. Keep in mind, these are purely volunteers, and I'm thankful for what they do. Not only do they patrol, they provide crucial support when we have events and we have incidences in the county. They had a total of 49 responses to crashes this year. That's slightly under 1 per week. They spent 157 hours supporting collisions, doing traffic control, things of that nature. And their average time on scene was 3 hours and 12 minutes per crash. They responded to support 4 fires, a total of 18.5 hours. They put a high emphasis on special events, community engagement. So they had a total of 70 for the year, which equaled 295 volunteer hours. The year started off with them supporting the funeral of Navasota PD officer who was killed in the line of duty. The COPs represented Washington County in the vehicle procession and at the funeral service. In March, they escorted the last Cowboys ride through the county, which was a fundraiser for children's hospitals. They also participated in the reunification traffic plan for the Brenham Independent School District. And in May, they had 2 significant events. The first one was participating in the search for the drowning victim that we had in town. COPs were part of the team crawling through the creek bed looking for the missing young girl. They also provided traffic support for Burton ISD's high school graduation. And in the fall, they attended several of the Burton high school football games where they provided traffic control and parking as well as presence during the games there. And they also participated in the Burton ISD active shooter reunification training that we held out there. They added 1 person to their COP team by the name of Alan Moore. He completed 30 hours of training in March. And in May, a number of their personnel attended the Alert active shooter training at Blinn, where they served as victim role players. In August, 3 members of the team were able to attend the Texas Citizens on Patrol Association annual conference. That was Sherry Parker and Alan Moore. They earned their COP basic course certification. And Sherry was also elected as the secretary of the organization for the 2025-2026 term. And in November, Mark Pennybacker completed the Texas Department of Public Safety Citizens Academy, which was a 13-session training academy over 12 weeks. He completed that, and I'm looking forward to working with him to bring a Washington County Deputies Police Academy for the citizens here in Washington County.
Wow.
So my hat's off to the cops. They do amazing work, and just acknowledge that they're a vital part in helping keeping Washington County safe.
Well, during a time that volunteerism continues to decline, all over our country, we're very grateful to have so many wonderful and diligent citizens serving as COPs for us. So.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We support them the very best that we can.
Well, and Sheriff, I think you did a good job of giving the report. I think Mr. Pennybacker would be happy about that. So, yeah, so I think that's a great deal. So, and the COPs are very helpful to us in these events and things that help out the Sheriff's Office. So, kudos to them and all the work they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I'd like to jump into the Washington County Sheriff's Office 2025 yearly report. First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to present this. And it just highlights the great work being done by the employees of the Sheriff's Office, and it's going to show some trends in criminal activity, the different activities that we are engaged in. And so, Carrie, I'm going to try to go through this pretty quick. There's a whole lot of information in here.
Quite a bit.
But I want to hit some of the highlights.
Oh.
Okay. So if we look on page 1, this is our NIBRS comparison. And what we have here is the 3 columns on the right, okay? It starts off with year 2023 numbers, then it goes to the year 2024 numbers, then to 2025. The last column shows a percentage of change from the 2024 to 2025, okay? And so what we see here is that we had 1 murder in 2025. We didn't have any in 24 or in 23. Now, the percentage of change there is 100%, right? Because you go from 0 to 1, it's 100%, right? So the higher the data points, the more representative of the change, of the percentage change that we see, okay? So if we go down to robbery, I really want to point this out. We have not had a robbery in the county in 3 years. And I put my hat off to the number of close patrols that we do, the number of business checks that we do when our officers are out there on patrol. They're visible. Criminal element sees it, they go somewhere else. Now, if we look at assaults, we had 162 assaults in 2025, and that's down from 228 in 2024 for a 29% decrease. Our burglaries, we had 8 burglaries in 2025, down from 10 in 2024 for a 20% decrease. On our thefts, we had 30 thefts in 2025, which was the same as 2024, which for a 0% change. So we're just kind of flat line through there. Our motor vehicle theft, all right, we saw a 67% decrease, down from 9 in 2024 to 3 in 2025. Our arsons, we see a 150% increase in arson investigations from 2024 to 2025. That went from 2 arson investigations to 5 arson investigations. So for our totals of Group A offenses, we had 174 in 2023, 293 in 2024, and 215 in 2025. So we see an overall drop of 27% of Group A offenses from 24 to 25. Now, if we drop down to the bottom of that page for our Group B offenses, we see that fraud was up 5%, criminal mischiefs down by 7%. Now, our weapons violations, they went from 6 in 2024 to 22 in 2025 for a 267% increase, but that's more in line with the numbers from 2023.
Yep.
Now, our drug offenses, they were up by 8%. 253 charges in 2025 compared to 234 charges in 2024. For our intoxication offenses, that increased by 45%. And what we see is a steady increase over the past 3 years. When we get into the graphs on that, you'll be able to see a visual on how that has increased through the years. So all other crimes, these are crimes that are not codified in the above categories. We also see a steady increase over the past 3 years. 157 in 2023, 287 in 2024, and 464 in 2025 for a 62% increase in all other offenses. So our total for Group B offenses was 498 in 2023, 607 in 2024, and 843 in 2025.
It looks
Give-
like
gives
the
us an-
biggest, the
it gives us-
biggest increase is in the other neighbors' offenses. Do we have like a further breakdown of that, or is that something we could get from you? I'm just curious if that's, more trespassing and if it's related to some of the mental health issues that we've seen, or.
Yeah, well, of course, mental health is not an offense, okay?
Right.
So that's not categorized
Well,
in
no,
there,
but
but we have
the
trespassing, we have threats, terroristic threats, conspiracy offenses, facilitation offenses, coercion offenses, things that are less than what is reported in those other crimes. It does not include traffic offenses,
Okay.
with the exception of hit and run and intoxication manslaughter. Okay, those are the only two that get put into that other category.
Okay.
But these are, and I use the term nuisance crimes. It's nuisance crimes.
Right, yeah. That's a pretty significant increase.
Yes.
Year over year, from 157 to 287 to 464.
Yes. And what studies have shown in the criminal justice arena across the country is, if you enforce those minor laws, then the major laws you don't have to enforce as much, because you're handling things here and they're not escalating. You ignore these things, then it increases the frequency of the major crimes.
Okay.
Sounds like discipline works.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And so what we're seeing is an overall increase in Group B offenses of 39% from 2024 to 2025. And so for our total Group A and B offenses combined, we had 672 in 2023, 900 in 2024, and 1,058 in 2025, which gives us an overall increase of total offenses of 18% from 2024 to 2025. And if you see there at the bottom, our juvenile offenses dropped by 8%.
Can I ask about the weapons violation?
Yes.
So are those most commonly because of finding somebody with a weapon that shouldn't have one on a traffic stop?
No, ma'am.
Nope.
That's
Okay.
somebody who has a weapon who is committing another crime.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
that's good insight.
Okay. So on page 2 starts our graphs. And if we can go to page 3, Carrie, I kind of want to explain this. Our blue columns are our raw numbers. The columns on the left are the numbers from 2023. The blue column in the middle are the raw numbers from 2024. And the column on the right are the numbers from 2025. The comparisons, you see the triangle on there. Okay, so it's a triangulation of those different data points. So the green line represents the numbers comparing from 2024 to 2025. And on the assaults, you'll see we had a 29% decrease. The yellow line compares the numbers from 2023 to 2024. As you can tell, we had a 105% increase in assaults from 23 to 24. Now the red line compares 2023 numbers to 2025 numbers. And so we had a 50% increase in assaults over the past three, when we compare the raw numbers from 25 to 23. And so page 4, Carrie, is our burglary graph. And so as we see here on our burglary, you can see there's a steady decline. And that steady decline is represented by that triangle being flatter. Okay, that tells me a lot when I'm looking at this data of where we need to focus our time. Okay, so we're seeing a steady decrease in burglaries across the county. And then page 5 is our theft graph, and that, as you can tell, it remains about the same across the county over the past 3 years. Page 6 is our motor vehicle theft graph, and we had a 67% decrease from 24 to 25, 80% increase from 23 to 24. But when you compare 23 to 25, we see a 40% decrease. Now, page 9 is our criminal mischief. We had a 43% decrease from 23 to 25, a 7% decrease from 23 to 24, worked that wrong, and a 39% decrease when you compare 2023 numbers to 2025 numbers. And so those instances continue to go down for us. Page 11 is our drug graph, and what we see is about a 4 to 8% variance over the past 3 years. Remains pretty constant. All right, page 12 is our intoxication offenses. You can see there's a steady increase there. So in 2025, there was 45% more than 2024, which was 134% higher than 2023. And 2024 numbers were 62% higher than 2023 numbers. So we're seeing a steady increase in intoxication-related offenses. Page 13 is all other offenses. Again, we're seeing a steady increase there. Page 14 shows a total of Group A and B offenses. And it's same trend there. We'd like for that trend to go the other way, but numbers are what they are. So Do we have any questions on the crime report before I get into the activity report?
None here for me.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sounds like we're good.
All right, so carry page 15. Okay, this is our activity report comparisons from 2023, 2024, and 2025. And like I said, there's a lot of information in this, so I'm going to hit on some of the highlights where I've seen some of the most impactful changes. So under our jail division, our total inmates booked was down by 6%. Our average daily population fell by 15%. Our EMS medical calls to the jail was down 33%. Our total blood draws was up 15%. And our inmate medical transports decreased by 48%.
That's great. That says a lot about the jail medical program.
Yes, absolutely. And so our vacancies remained about the same. On the law enforcement division, I just focused on the ones here that had a variance of 15%. Okay? So our vacancies, on average, increased by 25% when we compare the numbers. Our mental health, our assists, that's motorist assist and agency assist, increased by 17%. Our mental health transports increased by 23%. Our welfare concerns increased by 20%. Our traffic enforcement program, citations went up by 26% and warnings went up by 118%. Our reckless driving calls also increased to 34%, an increase of 34%. And our total incident responses, this is everything that we do at the sheriff's office, increased by 57%. And we also see that our criminal cases that were filed with prosecutors increased by 33%. Which would, the next page, Carrie, page 16, this is going to start taking us through some of the graphs on some of these things. Okay, so we can see what the trends are here. Now with our female inmates, we see a steady decline over the past 3 years. And page 17 with the male inmates, we're seeing the same trend. So page 18, with our total inmates, those numbers have continued to drop as well. Page 19, our average daily population. So we're back down to about the 2023 numbers. We saw that jump there in 2024. Page 21 is EMS medical calls to the jail. It's the same thing. We had a spike in 2024. And page 22 shows our medical transports. This is us taking an inmate to the emergency room or for a medical appointment or a dental appointment or something like that. So we see the same thing there, a high number in 2024. And you can make a direct correlation with that spike in 2024 to the average ADP being high. The longer an inmate stays in our jail, the more likelihood they're going to need medical attention. And so with our average daily population coming down, inmates staying in our jail for a shorter amount of time, it decreases the need for
Medical services, yep.
Yes. Now we get into the graphs for public safety. Page 26. What we see is a steady decrease in the number of miles driven by our personnel, decrease of 2 to 4% over 3 years. Page 30 is our welfare concerns. They continue to rise. Now, welfare concerns are, somebody calls in and says, I haven't heard from my brother, my uncle, my loved one in a while. Could you go by and check on them? Not a problem. That's what we do. Welfare concerns, somebody's walking down the side of 290. We're concerned about them. Could you go check on them? And so those calls have continued to go up through the years. Page 31 is our motor vehicle crashes. And what we see is a 3% decline from 2024 to 2025. Previously, we saw a 21% increase from 23 to 24. And if you compare 2023 numbers to 2025 numbers, we see a 17% increase there. And so Page 32 is the heat map. This is the frequency of crashes in the county. And as you can tell, and we have, covered this numerous times in the monthly reports, 290 East, 290 West, 36 North, 105, and Highway 50 is where we have the highest concentration of vehicle crashes. As you can tell on the east side of the county, that's where it's the most frequent. Okay. Page 33 is our livestock calls. All right, so we've seen an overall decline of loose livestock, and I just want to say thank you to our ranchers and our farmers for tending to their animal enclosures. We also had the benefit this past year of a very wet summer, and so the cows aren't pushing as hard trying to get to the greener grass on the other side of the fence, okay? But, 766 calls last year, that averages 2.1 loose livestock calls per day. Those are very time consuming. All right. Page 40 are our death investigations. All right. These are our unattended deaths. So they continue to have declined over the past 3 years. All right. Page 42, our total incident responses. All right. So this shows the overall work of the law enforcement division. In 2025, our deputies' work increased by 57% when compared to 2024, and increased 49% when you compare it to 2023. So we are much, much busier now than we were in the past. Page 44 is our case reports to prosecutor. And as you can tell, over 3 years, those numbers have continued to rise. So we're investigating more things. Page 45. Now, this is our last graph, but to me, it's the most important graph. This shows the number of assaults on my officers during 2025. Early statewide statistics from 2025 indicate that Texas leads the nation in the number of officers shot, ambushed, and assaulted. Nationwide, the number of assaults on peace officers was at a 10-year high in 2024, with over 85,000 attacks on law enforcement. For 2025 in Washington County, I had 5 of my deputies assaulted in the line of duty. On that same note, studies have shown time and time again that working in the correctional environment, such as our county jail, has the highest rate of workplace violence. Nationwide and locally, jailers are attacked by inmates at a disproportionate rate. During the year 2025, I had 35 of my jailers assaulted by inmates. These figures highlight a sustained high rate of violent intentional acts against law enforcement and correctional professionals, not only nationally and in Texas, but right here in our own backyard. And I thank each one of them for putting that uniform on every day, pinning that badge to their chest, and doing a job that not many are willing to do. Thankfully, everybody was okay. Thankfully, everybody was okay. So that brings me to the next part of this presentation. On page 46, in November of last year, I had an award ceremony for Sheriff's Office personnel, where their achievements and their accomplishments were recognized. I like to go through those real quick. And the following is a list of promotions that we had in 2025. John Dirth, promoted to Sergeant in the Jail Division. Bethany Pilchek, promoted to Sergeant in the Jail Division. Eddie Martinez, promoted to Sergeant in the Criminal Investigations Division. Adam Zavala, promoted to Sergeant in the Patrol Division. Cross Calderon, promoted to Lieutenant in the Jail Division. Jesus Montez, promoted to Lieutenant in the Patrol Division. And Clifton Ballard, promoted to Chief Deputy Jail Administrator. And I congratulate each and every one of them for their hard work, their dedication, and willing to take on the additional responsibilities. Page 47. During our awards program, I also recognized several of my employees for a job well done. These individuals went above and beyond the call of duty to volunteer their time to assist and tutor an inmate with his high school courses so he could graduate and receive his high school diploma. Those employees were Correctional Officer Russell Adams, Jail Lieutenant Cross Calderon, Jail Sergeant Rachel Peterson, who is a cadet now in our police academy. She competed in that process. She was selected as a police cadet. They will complete training in June. And Jail Sergeant Bethany Pilchek. They went out of their way. They tutored this young man. They got him to stay on top of his courses, and he was able to graduate with his class. And we actually took him for a private ceremony at the high school. So good job by them. Page 48. This is the American Legion Officer of the Year Award. Sergeant Adam Zavala was chosen by a vote of his peers for his dedication, commitment, performance, and his pursuit of excellence in the law enforcement profession, and he was chosen as Officer of the Year. Congratulations to him, and I continue to thank the American Legion for sponsoring that particular award. Page 49 are life-saving awards. These are awards that just showcase the dedication, the commitment, and the professionalism of our deputies. I want to go through some of these awards that I gave out during that ceremony. The first one went to Jail Sergeant John Dirth and Jail Nurse Janice White. On September 27, 2025, an inmate was booked into the Washington County Jail. Unknown to staff, the inmate had ingested narcotics prior to being booked in by law enforcement. While in the jail, the inmate suffered a medical emergency from an overdose and went into cardiac arrest. Sergeant John Dirth and Nurse Janice White administered life-saving measures, and the inmate was transported to the hospital where he recovered. Quick action, quick thinking, they saved a life. The second life-saving award went to Patrol Sergeant Corey Himbaugh and Patrol Sergeant Faye James Busey. On October 11, 2025, Corey and Faye responded to a medical overdose call in the 7000 block of FM 2780. Upon their arrival, they observed a 24-year-old female to be unconscious and not breathing with CPR in progress. Sergeant Himbaugh immediately took over CPR, and Faye administered Narcan to the patient. The patient regained consciousness and was transported to the hospital by EMS, where she recovered. Their quick actions, quick thinking, saved a life. The third award went to Patrol Sergeant Adam Zavala and Deputy Matthew Presswood. On June 22nd, 2025, Sergeant Zavala and Deputy Presswood responded to a vehicle versus motorcycle crash on State Highway 36 North and FM 390. Upon their arrival, the operator of the motorcycle had suffered multiple critical life-threatening injuries to his extremities. Adam and Matthew immediately began life-saving measures by applying multiple tourniquets to stop the bleeding. Their quick actions and application of their training led to the stabilization of the patient until EMS arrived and transported him to a trauma center. Great work. They saved a life. Page 50. Every year, Mothers Against Drunk Driving gives out recognition awards to law enforcement for their work in combating intoxicated offenses, particularly DWI. On November 19, 2025, Mothers Against Drunk Driving held its annual award ceremony in Klein, Texas. Sergeant Adam Zavala was selected as a recipient of the 2024 Mothers Against Drunk Driving Annual Law Enforcement Recognition Award for his outstanding dedication, unwavering commitment, and impactful contributions in the fight against impaired driving. His service exemplifies the values we hold dear, and this award shines a spotlight on his pursuit of excellence in keeping Washington County safe. It was quite the honor. So those were the awards that I gave out during our awards ceremony. I would like to take the time today to present 5 additional life-saving awards. And if I could have my personnel come in so I can recognize them.
Yeah, y'all are gonna be called up here.
Yeah, why don't you line up here, please. We have Corporal Robert McAnally, Deputy Matthew Brown, Deputy Carson Holton, Sergeant Eddie Martinez, and Lieutenant Jesus Montez. On December 8, 2025, Corporal McAnally, Deputy Brown, Deputy Holton, Sergeant Martinez, and Lieutenant Montez responded to a call for service with unwavering dedication and remarkable urgency. Dispatch had informed the responding units that a suspect had admitted to shooting 2 family members and remained on the scene, heightening the gravity of the situation. Demonstrating a profound commitment to their duty, our officers prioritized the safety of the victims over their own, fearlessly advancing into a volatile situation. Deputy Holton was the first to arrive on scene and quickly assessed the dire circumstances. He located 2 victims lying motionless on the ground and without hesitation accessed his patrol rifle and gave clear commands to the suspect in order to control the situation. Corporal McAnally and Deputy Brown arrived shortly thereafter, each fully aware of the potentially catastrophic consequences at hand. Together, they took immediate action to detain the suspect and ensured that any threats to the victims or fellow officers was neutralized so medical assistance could be provided without delay. Deputy Brown and Corporal McAnally secured the suspect, and Sergeant Martinez and Lieutenant Montez arrived on scene. All officers swiftly evaluated the scene and relayed vital information about the victim's injuries to dispatch to ensure the responding EMS personnel had the best critical picture. Victim triage was done immediately, and our officers began life-saving measures by applying tourniquet and utilizing other hemorrhage control methods to stop the victim's life-threatening bleeding from multiple gunshot wounds. Upon arrival of EMS, our officers continued to perform life-saving measures by assisting with treatment and the loading of victims in a helicopter for immediate transport to a trauma center. After neutralizing the threat and aiding the victims, our officers transitioned back to their responsibility of ensuring the integrity of the evolving investigation. Their swift responses and decisive actions in a high-stress environment exemplified extraordinary valor and composure. The selfless life-saving efforts of Deputy Holton, Deputy Brown, Corporal McAnally, Sergeant Martinez, and Lieutenant Montez were instrumental in providing critical medical assistance for the victims. Their heroic service reflects the highest standards of the peace officer profession, and it is my honor to present them with these life-saving awards. That's all. Commissioners, that concludes my presentation. Do we have any questions?
Way to end on a high note.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention and your support.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Sheriff, thank you for that report. I think that what I noticed in your report this time is that there was a lot of data that will be proven useful to us.
Yep.
And I appreciate you adding those data points to that,
Yep.
Absolutely.
that report.
I
Sure thing.
second that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thought the same thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheriff. The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action on the approval of an amendment to the existing CSG Fort Payments Incorporated agreement to allow carrier registration and enable text notification services, no changes to original agreement terms, and allow the county judge to sign any necessary documents. Ms. Hollis?
Yes, this is part of the Intech JP software that was approved. They had left this off of the agreement that was signed about a month ago, and this is the portion that allows the text messaging of where you go to pay your ticket. And so it's been reviewed by the county attorney's office, and it's only the part for the text messaging, and there's no additional charges.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the amendment to the existing CSG Forte Payments, Inc. agreement to allow carrier registration and enable text notification services, no changes to the original agreement terms, and allow the county judge to sign any necessary documents.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Item number 6, discussion and possible action on the approval of the Commissioners Court meeting minutes of January 2026. Commissioners, you've had those in your packet? No changes? Need a motion?
I'm making a motion to approve Commissioner Court meetings for January 2026.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on the approval of the adoption of a county road agreement between Washington County and John Judas from Pickens Road, Precinct 1. Mr. Stoltz?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Well, I think we've all recently remembered the Adopt a Road program that Washington County recently adopted. And we have our first application before the Commissioners Court today. This is on Pickens Road for approximately 2 miles with John Judas. They're associated with Fresh Air 2. And we're very excited to bring this to you today, given the fact that we recently started this program, and we've got all of our safety literature ready to go. We've got our safety vests, bags, pickers, gloves, the whole 9 yards. So we're ready to go. We've recently worked up our draft for the signage. Carrie, if you wouldn't mind taking a look at that. So we've got this that we're going to be putting out there to make sure that we can recognize all of the volunteers that are going to be looking to clean up any kind of trash and debris in these areas. So we're very excited to bring this forward, and very excited, and also want to recognize John Judas for volunteering for this active service.
And not because you failed, but Mark did a whole lot of work on this.
Yes, he
and
did.
really, thank you, Mark. You brought this to life, and I appreciate everything you did.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate everything you did.
Well, it was a fun project. I'm glad we got it kicked off, but
too.
couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you.
I need a motion.
Oh, that would be me. I make a motion to accept the approval of the Adopt a County Road Agreement between Washington County and John Judas for Pickens Road, Precinct 1.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item number 8, discuss a formal notice from PGMS for service line bore within the county right-of-way of Wolf Creek Road in Precinct 3. Mr. Stoltz?
Yes, this is going to be an extension of the water line from PGMS down Wolf Creek Road. This is only 220-foot span to a currently vacant lot that is looking to be developed. This is going to be a 2-inch extension with a 2-inch bore that's going to go across with a 1-inch service line that's going to be in place for the proposed development at this location. They do meet all of our county requirements, and we are looking to move forward with this one. This is just our notice.
All right. Item number 9, on the agenda, discussion and possible action on the approval of proposed change to Exhibit A of the existing agreement between Washington County and Brandon Industrial Group for the annual spring cleanup event labor.
Yes, so this is nothing changing, guys. So this is the nice part. There is no increase. This is purely just every year we come back to Brandon Industrial Group for the location for the spring cleanup. There is no additional change, just going to be a change from 2025 to 2026. That's all we're looking at here.
Yep. Make a motion to approve to act upon the approval of the proposed change to Exhibit A of the existing agreement between Washington County and Brandon Industrial Group for the annual spring cleanup event labor.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item number 10, discussion and possible action on the approval to act upon TxDOT Advancing Funding Agreement Resolution for the replacement of bridges located on Caney Creek Road and Tiger Point Road. Mr. Stoltz?
Yeah, so we've talked about this previously. This was our application that we originally went forward with. This is our final resolution that will go to Austin for our final agreement to be signed. But what we're looking at here is for 2 bridges to be replaced, bless you, by the state of Texas and TxDOT. One of them is on Caney Creek and the other one is on Tiger Point. Both of those projects are valued for a little over $1 million a piece. Used to be approximately $600,000, so we've got our prices have definitely gone up over the years, as everyone's noted. But with that said, with that $2 million, a little over $2 million, what we're looking at is this AFA agreement process requires 10% funding from the local jurisdiction, which would be Washington County. Now, in that, instead of paying cash for the project, we can do equivalent match projects, which, look, these are already projects that we are focusing on, we're already planning to do. So essentially, it doesn't cost the taxpayers of Washington County any additional funding for their local taxes, right? Now, what we're looking at for these particular 2 is Gilmore Road. This is currently a 96-inch corrugated metal pipe, so 96-inch. Just to put it in perspective, everyone here can walk through that. I don't think we have any NBA stars that are in here currently. So everybody can walk through this one fully extended. The bottom of it is definitely starting to have extensive rust. So it is met its life expectancy. We are going to be replacing this culvert. But this particular resolution would be, we have a contractual obligation within a 3-year period to replace it. Our proposal is that we intend on moving forward with this in 2027. So we'll be bringing forward this item to budget for that particular time. That said, we have a 3-year period, if approved today, for this resolution. The other one is a Fluellen Road. There's existing culverts that are currently in place over there. They're also showing a little bit of weathering, and they need to be extended. So this is going to be a dual 36-inch in place over there. This would also be done in-house. The only thing that we would have external is that we would require a larger excavator for the 5x5 box culverts at Gilmore Road. That's a very, very heavy piece of material, and so we would need a little bit larger equipment. But that we're going to rent that. All of our own personnel are going to do it. Everything we can do in-house, we'll do in-house. That said, those are the 2 projects we have. Fluellen is currently paved. Gilmore, we're currently looking at the surface improvement projects on that one. I think that's probably going to be coming in the not too distant future, based on the current characteristics that we've gathered, as well as the traffic counts. That said, we're going to be finalizing that for the coming years, and obviously we'll meet with every single one of the commissioners' court to kind of go through what that plan looks like. But one of the big things that we're really focused on Gilmore is there is some drainage improvements that need to be met before that surface improvement is taken care of. This is a very extensive one. No one wants to put a $300,000, $250,000 surface improvement on a roadway and then tear it straight out a year later with a major drainage improvement. So we want to make sure those are all taken care of beforehand. But that's kind of what we have. If you have any questions regarding any of the watershed analysis or anything else, I'd be happy to get that to you. But every single one of these meets our 10-year storm event. The Gilmore is actually substantially higher. Only reason being is the current 96-inch actually does exceed the 10-year. And our policy is, if we have current infrastructure that meets a current flow rate capability, we do not downsize drainage. So that's one thing. We do not downsize our drainage on any of these roads, even though we can have that capability. Our big thing is we don't want to downgrade any infrastructure wherever we can. So it will be above our 10-year storm event in that particular case. Fluellen will be above a 10-year, but it won't meet the 100-year.
Okay. I make a motion to approve and act upon the TxDOT Advanced Funding Agreement Resolution for the replacement of bridges located at Caney Creek Road and Tiger Point Road.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 11, discussion and possible action on the approval of accounts payable. I believe Ms. Catherine's going to be here today. Good morning. Ms.
Good morning.
We just have regular bills this week. $276,367.82.
Commissioners, did you have any questions of Ms. Catherine about the accounts payable?
No.
I need a
Business as
motion.
usual. I make a motion to approve accounts payable.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Catherine. Item number 12, we're going to recess this meeting, and then we'll reconvene into an executive session. Thank y'all so much for coming.
Thank you. Okay. I know, I gotta go after you.